third-party application to obtain limited access to HTTP services. So all of you know about the WebAPI basic thing, right? And also you people have also built on the WSAP method and thinking about how to provide the security on those API, right? People are always thinking about this on the WebAPI. Then there are so many ways we can secure our REST API. So there is OAuth is one more technology that can provide the security on REST API. Except OAuth, we have other things like we can use the SSL. Then also we can use the CORS course. Then next, OAuth is currently in development. OAuth 2 is currently in development phase, and also more and more thing is adding to now. We are adding to OAuth 2.0, and companies like Facebook, Twitter, Google, Microsoft, and many more companies are using the OAuth. And to understand the things, I am giving you one example. So when you are reading any news on Yahoo, on Google, and we are also making some, if you want to like something, some news, you want to post into the Twitter or Facebook, right? So how these things will maintain in the Facebook. So when you clicking the, suppose you are clicking the Facebook button in the Google News, and you want to like that news to the your Facebook page. So when you click on that button in the Facebook button in any of the news, your favorite news, then it will ask you one authentication page on the Facebook, and you will provide the Facebook authentication to the Facebook site, not the Google site. So once you authenticated to the Facebook site, then Facebook will return an token, access token, that is called access token, and by using this access token, you can access the Facebook API. So by using the Google News using the Facebook API, but after getting the access token, you will post your favorite news to the Google, your Facebook page. That is the main process the third-party application are using for OAuth. You can understand from this image. So we people are also using the Google API in our application. So how it works? So user and your app maybe you can install in your mobile app or in your desktop or in your web browser. And Google server has three things. As user login and consent. Then second one is one server called Authorization server. Third one is called your API server. So when user first want to access any API from the Google server, Google will redirect to the login page called user login. You need to authenticate in the Google site, and you will return, your application will get an authorization code. So you need to show this authorization code, means your application will show this authorization code to authorization server. After the authorization code is successfully authenticated, then authorization server will return an access token. And once you get the access token, you can get the Google API. That is the flow to access the Google API. Like this, Facebook is using the Facebook Graph API. So same concept we are using. And same old concept Facebook is using, Twitter is using, and many more companies are using the same concept. So let's discuss on OAuth and how it works. So whenever you're thinking about to build an application, and that application to support any third-party application, means that third-party application will access your API, but without providing their own credential. So you will not, the third-party application will not publish the the credential to your side. So you need to think about four things. Client is the user, then resource owner, authorization server, and resource server. Suppose if we need to implement in our .NET application, we need to create three applications. One for resource owner, then authorization server, resource server, client is the application. Four applications we need to build. Resource owner who have access to the resource server. Resource server contains all the REST API. Authorization server internally make a request in between the resource owner and resource server to get the access token to the client. Then first client can request an authorization request to resource owner. Resource once it is granted, resource owner return the grant code. Then once client shows this grant code to the authorization server return the access token. Then client can show the access token to the resource server, and internally resource server also connect to the authorization server and resource server to validate your access token. After validating, you can get your protected resource in your application. So resource server is surrounded with only access token. They can only understand the access token, nothing else. These are the four roles we have already discussed. We have had some simple points on these roles. Resource owner granting access to the protected resource server hosting that protected resource capable of accepting and responding to the protected resource request using the access token. So access token is the main point. So in your hand you need the access token to get any API. Then client. An application making protected resource request on behalf of the resource owner and with its authorization. So without getting resource owner's password, we are getting the API using the authentication, using the access tokens. Then authorization server. The server using access token to the client after successfully authenticating the resource owner and obtaining the authorization. That thing we have discussed in the previous slide. Access token. We will discuss more about the access token. Access token are the credential used to access protected resource, and access token is a string representing authorization issued to the client. So access token is a simple string encoded format string. We can digitalize the access token, so no one can get that and decode that access token. There are lots of ways we can electronically sign the access token. Then resource server must validate the access token and ensure that it has not expired and it is covers the requested resource. It can have different format structure and methods of utilization. Means we can implement the cryptographic algorithm in the access token. When authorization server generating the access token, in that case we can cryptographically customize the access token security. This is an example of access token, how internally we can call the Google API using the access token. This is the one format. So whenever we are doing any request to the any API, either Google API, Facebook API, or if we write our own API, this is the format we need to call one API method from the resource server. There are two kinds of access token. One is bearer token and one is client token. So bearer token is now every application is using the bearer token. When we are using the bearer token, we have this format: authorization, bearer slash space, then this is your access token. All applications like Google, Facebook, all everyone is using this bearer token. And mark authentication token is under progress. So it's now not in use not in wide use. Then refresh the page. Once you validate your authentication in the authorization server authorization server can return an access token, including another parameter called refresh token. So refresh token is used to, if your access token is valid for few some time, suppose 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 days, 4 days, like this. Once it is expired, refresh token is used to get the new access token from the authorization server. So that is, you can think about the offline services. If authorization service sometimes is not validated, sometimes refresh token can use to generate new access token from authorization server. And this is the other parameter expiry, and token type is bearer. Every time we are using the bearer. Refresh token are issued to the client by authorization server and are used to obtain new access token when current access token becomes invalid or expires. If authorization server issues a fresh token, it is included when issuing an access token. This is the refresh token description. Then we'll discuss about OAuth Net API, how we can use this API to create the authorization server, then the REST server, and the other thing is that authorization server, resource server, and resource owner. Using this API, we can create these servers. So we can create this API using, you can get this Microsoft OAuth security. It provides all the necessary API. You can get it from the NuGet package. You need to install this one. Maybe if you are using .NET 2012, or if you are using .NET 2013, latest one, it is inbuilt, is giving this PLA. So no need to install. So when we are thinking about the REST API about security, we need to consider these API functions. As creating the authorization server, what we have discussed in the OAuth .NET security framework, first we need to create the authorization server. So to create the authorization server, we need to consider this parameter, token endpoint path. So token endpoint path is when you are accessing any API, your API call should hit this token endpoint path. Token endpoint path will return your access token. Provider is the application of OAuth provider. It describes the life cycle of your authorization server. When the token is created, when the token is expired, this thing. Then authorization endpoint. This is for external login. Means if you are not using your application authentication, if you are using the Facebook or Google want to access from the outside login, user can access your application. They can use this external login to get the access token from your API server, your authorization server. Then you can provide the access token expiry time span. It's like key expiration time. You can provide from your own. And that is another is allow insecure STP. If you call from insecure STP without secure SSL, then you can set this option. Then we can describe the. Then we will discuss on life cycle of authorization server. It controls the this is the function. It controls the life cycle of authorization server, and it is used by server to communicate the web application while processing the request. It enables OAuth bearer token authentication in middleware, which will receive and validate bearer token for authorization header in a request. So whenever we put the bearer, that syntax we have previously discussed, that bearer slash access token, it will first come to the, internally it will come to the this function API. We'll see this function API in our demo application. This is the functions. This is the events. It will fire serially. On validate client redirect URL, it will validate your URL Then non-validated client authentication, which internally with the DB from getting from the access token by using access token, you can validate internally with your authorization server. Then is validated client authentication, get resource owner credential and on-ground client credential. So after validating, it will decide whether which function we need to resource owner need to grant to the client. This on grant resource owner credential will this event will decide. We'll see this function in our live demo. Then let's discuss on the REST service. So web service REST, whatever the service we are using, that is comes under the web service. And web service can have communicate via two types, either SOAP or REST. So anybody have seen the SOAP service? How the data format is doing? Anyone? Okay. If you think about the SOAP, it is very complex type, and it's like it's maintained like XML format, and you need to maintain whenever you need to maintain that some specific format to send to the server when you're doing any request to the server. That is very complex, and also for simple thing you need to build SOAP envelope. Envelope is some certain format, XML format you need to build, and also it will server will return also in SOAP envelope format. But in the REST, it is simple. You need to access to the server. It will return simple JSON or XML or simple text format. It will return. And also it will REST will also work on your all HTTP verbs, get, post, put, delete. Okay. Then REST is the way to create, read, update or delete information on the server using HTTP calls that we are discussing now. It is an alternative to the more complex mechanism like SOAP. SOAP is a W3 standard, but REST is not a W3 standard. Since it is easy and more flexible, people are using the REST. And we can easily create the WebAPI using MVC, WebAPI and WCA. And when we are using the WCA before WebAPI, it is complex to create in the to create a WebAPI using the REST service in the WCA. So WebAPI gives a better mechanism to create the REST service. And nowadays you can see REST in our mobile devices. Everyone using the REST because it is more simplicity and much more faster. That is why.
Is SOAP more secure than REST?
Yes, SOAP is more secure than REST. More secure, but it is now the other things are security thing is coming like OAuth, so we can provide the security with the REST service. SOAP is a W3 standard. REST is not. REST is because REST is simple and faster, and it is returning less data and simple data. Now we can create a REST service using REST.NET WebAPI. How we can create a complete pure REST application with create in 2013. So Visual Studio provide that web API option to create the REST API. Anybody have seen? Web API, no, only REST. Yeah, Web API project is there. Can give the name test demo REST API. Yes, that is Web API. There is, and we need to change this authentication. So the reason is for creating RESTful HTTP services that can be reach a broad range of client, including browser and mobile devices. That thing we need to this change authentication we need to change so that it will accept our will create an actually will create a login means user credential in a page, and that will first we need to create the user, and that user need to authenticate it in the that resource owner credential. So at least we need to select individual user accounts. So it will support the SQL database, or we can use the Facebook Twitter login, but we will see here only on SQL database. Internally it will generate almost all code for our REST and OAuth.
Actually, what that OAuth does?
What?
That OAuth.
OAuth actually there's a middle layer between your application and IaaS integrated pipeline. It will decouple, means your application will not much more dependent upon your IaaS. So you can customize your theme.
It comes under project Katana. What Microsoft has done.
Yes,
is-
yes.
Katana.
Yeah, it's Katana means they are created OAuth, that is Open Web Interface. No, OAuth stands for Open Web Interface. So what Microsoft is done is that they are realizing that the web is changing and not much people are using IaaS. So what they have done is instead of hosting your application in IaaS, so you can build your application using OAuth, where you can host your own application.
So we need to create a pure REST service. So we don't need this view script. So we need to delete this one. Fonts, this is not required. So, area, it is also not required. Just and also bundle config, it is not required. It is only for if you are building any UI thing. Then route config. Let's see this one. Yeah, we don't need this one. We need to remove it from the global.h6. I think we have done this done with the REST service. Yeah. very easy steps to create the pure REST service. So we can call this using API, and there is one more class called values controller. You can add, you can from your own you can add, but here it's giving that template. So we can use this values. Right. So it is asking for authorization. So let's remove this one and check what it is written. If we remove, then anyone can access. There is no security. The get, put, post, delete, these are the HTTP vaults are already inbuilt in this class. So now it's working. So I have already created one page that to test this API. Let's test this in. Let's test this simple API. Before this, we can discuss about one more thing about security on securing REST API. These are the different way. These are the different way we can secure the REST API. That is SSL and cross-origin resource sharing. That is cross-origin resource sharing. That means that from if you specify the specific URL in your web page, that means it will accept requests from only those URLs. So we can place this in here and to make to add more security to our REST service. So we can, there is one attribute enable cors CORS here, or we can implement this next one. And next is OAuth. So let's see and how OAuth will work here. Already created one page to test this API. Will include this one here. So to understand more thing, so there is nothing is here in the function, that is nothing is content. So I have created some functions. I need to add this in this API. So let's add this. It's a simple function. I have just modified that because it's done. Now I have commented this authorization so that we can access these without protocol. So let's use this one. So we can use this URL. So we are not using any authorization here, just to simple test. This is a list. In the application, this is a list of string value. We need to add some values to the list and see in the API. So instead of this, this is actually these things are stored in the memory. Instead of this, we can use our DB SQL DB to write any query based on our application requirement. So we can. Get on. So whatever the way we're getting in the get all. And let's discuss on the OAuth, how we can secure this API. Now anyone can access this API by using the endpoint, by using the this URL. So let's enable this one, authorization. And when we created this RESTful API, the template, it will internally create our resource server and resource owner. These two part of what we have discussed previously, that two part already internally it will be created. So here we can discuss those API. So startup, if we go see the startup task, so that we are discussed about that these functions, that function will automatically generated because this application includes our resource server and authorization server. So if we want to much more flexible, we can create one authorization server and one resource server. Those two we can separate in two separate applications. For this we are for this demo we are including everything. So that another is bearer token. So if we include this one, that we need to use the bearer parameter in authorization request when we are calling any API from our browser. So let's run this. So if we want to put anything here now, let's say I'm putting, so it is accessing for authorization. That means we need to provide the our access token that we have discussed. So anyway, we need to, without access token, these endpoints are now secure. So we need to provide the access token to get this API. So first, to get the access token, we need to user must need to authenticated in the resource owner. So this is the resource owner part, and here we need to register ourselves. Let's say I'm creating one user. As per our discussion that one need the resource owner part. So this is the work of resource owner. So you need to register. It's done. Let's check in the DB.
Is it like the same way we register username password?
Yeah, you need to first authenticate in the resource owner server. So yes, it's
Same like
same
register.
authentication, same as in authentication process.
Forms authentication.
Yes, but it's here we are calling the web. Yes, it's a ASP.NET identity. Yes. So we can check the user first. Actually, here ASP.NET authentication, but we are creating user through the web API. Not if you see. Just a minute.
User will be in the
Account controller. So it is also a API controller. It's not like a simple controller. So everything it's coming in the JSON file. So let's check it our user whether it's there or not. This is the one way to register, but other third party means the Facebook and Google user can use this also. So that is that we have discussed already. There is a external login. So there is one one API called external login. Yeah, this one. Whenever any third party user from other side, they can use this one to get the access token. Let's check. So now we have created. So now we need to show this, we need to get the access token, we need to authenticate it in authorization server and resource server. So we need to authenticate, we need to put the password. This is the access token. Once we get the access token, we can call the all API. So let's check it out. So nothing is there in the memory. So let's do one by one something and test. So it's done. Now authentication, we have the access token. So how we are posting this access token? Let's see in Mozilla. Yes, in each request we need to send the access token as a bearer parameter. Bearer. Two type of access token we have discussed. Bearer, another is one is MAC. So every now it is MAC. Bearer is already developed. So we will use this one bearer. Let's check it.
Can you show how that access token is generated?
Yeah, we'll check this.
Network.
It should come. This is good. Let's see. So this is the format that bearer. Every time we need to send the bearer and our access token. Yeah, we'll send as a HTTP request from the jQuery. You can send call Ajax. Yes, we need to specify the bearer. Okay, let's see the code.
Can you show that format in jQuery?
Yeah.
Can you show that in jQuery?
Yes, yes, I am showing that. We need to in the request header. Before header is used for authorization. So authorization parameter, then bearer, then your access token. Every time we need to send like this. Every time we need to call in. First we need to before send the Ajax call. Before send we need to call this one. So every request is contains like this. Okay, let's see how the authentication token is creating. Put a debugger here. And this function use OAuth bearer token. So it will enable the application to use the bearer token for authenticated user. This is the functions will help us to use the bearer token. Yeah, that for events lifecycle event we are discussing. So that event will helpful to create the grant the resource credential token endpoint. Okay, I'm putting the debugger here. It's better to understand. Let's create another user. So we're creating another user. Yes. No. So the invalid credential. It's wrong person. Once it is once it is validated, then grant the resource owner. This is a life cycle we have discussed. So this here it will get this authentication ticket in this grant resource owner credential. Here it's internally it's doing authentication type bearer. I think here any parameter I think it's creating. Let's check. Yeah, now I think here it's doing and it's putting in the sign in cookie token endpoint. So now it's getting. I think that life cycle grant resource life cycle is creating this authentication ticket.
Is this transmission is secure? Like, if anyone got this key, will get access to everything?
Yeah, anyone got this key, it can get the your resource. So there is some way, some extra digitally sign. You can digitally sign in the authorization server. Authorization server, you need to maintain some extra security, extra algorithm. It will digitally sign so that no one except this resource, no one can. Even if get, they cannot get the resources. This is a part of the authorization server. extra security we need to maintain.
Is this possible to implement in membership? How can we implement?
Yeah, everything is it's giving identity is giving one extra advancing for MVC, but before MVC, when we have the WCF, WebAPI comes in last 1.5 years ago. Before, when we are using the WCF, in the WCF we can implement these things. Even if membership, even if you use your credential like SQL simple SQL thing, like you can create your own username password table and you can implement this one.
So to use this one, you must have that.
But if we use this approach that manual thing, then we need to create lot of code, know these things internally. See, this facility is giving 2013 giving all those facilities.
But in
So,
sample membership, we have to do all.
sample we need to do all, but yes, it's possible everything. But we need to write much more code for this.
If you go
And
to
also this whatever this function this application is doing, it's as per our OAuth protocol. If you see in the OAuth protocol stack, OAuth protocol stack, these are the different application. For this testing purpose, we are implementing everything in one application. So it's our application is behaves as also resource server and also authorization server. Both are implementing one, but we can. It's better. It's recommended to create multiple server for this OAuth framework. Yes.
I was asking is if you go to some of the sites just like Stack Overflow or other sites, they ask you over there that you can authenticate using their user which you have created using their account, or you can use Google or Facebook.
That is right. That thing we have discussed previously. Like I am giving one example that Yahoo News, Yahoo Google, or something in any site you see something that you like that one, right? In the Google News, if you go to the Google News, all buttons are there, even each news. So so whenever click on any button, you need to like that news. Click on that. So we are not submitting anything to any credential to the Google. We are submitting our Facebook password to the Facebook site. Actually, internally, Facebook is returning that authentication ticket.
So this site Google News is retaining that authentication.
Google News is getting the authentication ticket. So that thing.
And in every request, it's sending that.
Once every request, you will get the authentication ticket. So each request, once you get the authentication ticket, you will authenticate it to their API, Google Facebook API. So you will post your thing in your Facebook, right? When you like it's there, or you could tweet something. It is internally doing their calling their API. And also yes, in the Stack Overflow, the same concept.
They are allowing to register with Google API.
Actually, what they
In a Stack, they have their own API, a Stack Exchange, and they offer other APIs also, like Google, Facebook,
yes.
Twitter. So you can do via their APIs, which they are exposing. And
That means
So they must be retaining the access token.
yes,
Yes.
that is
Again,
one standard protocol. That is they are using Microsoft OAuth, Google. They are using the standard protocol OAuth. They are implementing and same concept, getting the access token internally to authenticate. That means that you will not put your username password every time, right? So other people can get your data by using access token. So access token is getting from another server. They are doing the Stack Overflow is doing same thing. In some application, we are also in our Mindfire, we are also developed some application like this. You need to register file. Register means you need to. They are saying that in the Stack Overflow what they are doing, they are asking for their registration. But no, but that means that user you have one user in Facebook. They will get the username, but you will put your credential for Stack Overflow authentication. But if you come to the Facebook, if you want to do something in the Facebook, they will return the authentication ticket. That is the internal part they are doing.
So it will be an overhead. For example, if we are using forms authentication, what we are doing? We are retaining the authentication token in a cookie, and in each request we are sending
Yes,
in the cookie to validate the user and then process the request.
But
so if we authenticate using the Google API or Facebook API, so in each request we have to make another extra call to their server.
Extra call to their server, but it's only you need to show the authentication.
Yeah, the authentication token.
Because the main benefit is that other user, third party application can access your API. That is the thing. But in your application, if you form them, there's things. But any other people cannot access your application. So if you expose your data to other any third party provider, third party consumer, then you need to implement this authentication, OAuth authorization. Okay, you can ask any questions. I think we have almost, this is a simple introduction to the OAuth and the REST service. And if you want to more, then we can add another session on Facebook, Twitter implementation. We can do another session, but you can start can ask any questions.
Can you describe once again how this can be achieved in WCF services?
Yeah, we can. Yes, I can give you some idea. See, in the WCF, see these things we need to write in web.invoke. Every people, I think, most knowledgeable to web.invoke. In the web.invoke, we can put the get, post, put, all those things. And we need to include this there. I think no, Microsoft OAuth security, that this feature is not available. That other, if you go to the OAuth site, they are providing some other DLL, right? So we need to include those DLL and just go through some example and they are doing this and we can implement. But anyway, we need to write lots of code. And,
exposing API and that can be getting API in the WCF services.
But in that case, we
security part.
Security in case in that we need to create this authorization server. We need to write something manual code, right? And that I am sure that must be like some functionality for authenticating.
Google etc. They are providing DLLs. You can go to
Google is providing. See, just I am giving one example.
Facebook also.
See, you can see all those DLL are available here. Microsoft OAuth security, Google, OAuth, Twitter, everything.
OAuth with the package of all
OAuth is a package of, yes. So this is the middle layer thing. And
we do manually when we include that to OAuth.
yes, OAuth different DLL I think they are providing. Can get. It's a Microsoft new approaches to do in their middle layer. That's open source.
If you choose with this higher frameworks, you can choose OAuth.
Yes, but except this cookies, Facebook, Google, we have do this before 2 years back, 3 years back, some project.
In 2010, Facebook opened
We have implemented this Facebook before 2 years back, and like some application, like I'm giving one example, in the one shopping cart application that you shop something, right? And you discount get some more discount, right? You need to show this in the Facebook, right? So when you get if you get 100 rupees discount, then post your message to the Facebook. Before 2000, I think 2010 we have done this, but it's very difficult to implement these things.
Yes, at that time all the codes were written.
This I can show you this, and not so I'll show you one example. This example, just you can visualize these things.
That time those Facebook, Twitter, they
Yes,
provide some
everything we have. Facebook, Twitter, every implementation we have done. See that this is token. These are manually we have created. these functions we have manually created, and there for this there are some API is available, but it's very difficult to implement. Here there is nothing. Here you just choose the template, then done. But if you create a clear separation for authorization server and resource server, you need to do lots of work. Yeah, any questions? Any doubt about OAuth protocol? This is the basic thing. So that we have discussed: access token, bearer, and refresh token, resource server. These are the very basic thing. I think we have discussed all those points now. Any questions? Okay, we can end this session. Thank you.